Surprise! I'm back. Here at RJB TV, it is me, RJB, who today will bring you two former ASL players, two former semi-professionals who have competed at the highest level in the world, meeting on fastest map. It's none other than Doromi here on the green Zerg, and his opponent on the blue Terran. It is Byul on the name Core, which of course stands for Korea. So we've got two amazingly skilled micro, macro, multitask players who have as much experience as you could wish for. They primarily focus on team games, on 2v2, 3v3, at of course the highest level on fastest map. But before that, they spent, I'd say, about a decade playing on the normal maps, and they were really good. And I think their skills on the normal map have really allowed them to flourish, to become absolute masters of every single aspect of the fastest map game. So we have Doromi here going for a hatchery first, not a choke. Important detail. He's either going to go for a double hatchery pool and then a gas, or he's going to go for one single hatchery into a pool. It's kind of like those are usually the only two options they have. And I'm kind of curious, and I'm wondering, which of the two is he going to go for? He isn't making his pool yet, so that's for sure it's going to be a hatchery. Whereas Byul here on the other side of the map is going for a supply depot, a refinery, and then a barracks after that. So it means he's going for double factory pool order. We got the double hatchery there from Doromi. As predicted, he couldn't have gone, well, he could have gone for something else. It's just this is the one build I often see return whenever the Zerg does not go for a choke. And honestly, I think Zerg against Terran without a choke is pretty difficult, but both players have picked their respective races. This is not random against random. They both know what they're playing against. He has a plan, a real plan, and I think chokeless Zerg has some real potential against a Terran, but you really just need amazing micro, amazing multitasking. You cannot make a single mistake at any point. When you go for a choke Zerg, you can afford to make a couple of tiny mistakes. With this build order, you cannot make a single one because you will absolutely get ass blasted to Kingdom Come. There's just no way you're going to survive a mistake. And Doromi has insanely good micro and control, so I don't think he's going to make a mistake. But maybe Byul can force him to make a mistake. Because Byul, much like Doromi, has amazing micro as well. So it's just kind of like two players with amazing micro going to be going at it for a little while. Now Byul is not going for 3 factories, he's going for 2 factories and a command center. So he's not planning on just going all in early game. He wants to have a little bit of a backup economy just in case things aren't working out as he wanted it to. Whereas Byul now is going for 4 hatcheries. Usually, wait, that's 5 hatcheries? Oh, that's a high-risk den. So this is something I didn't expect to be seeing here. This is not something I expected. Is he gonna go for high-risks? High-risks are actually insanely good against a factory opening. They are insanely good because the Terran will most likely only have vultures, and vultures not really that great against high-risks. But if cute micro there coming out, got an armory on the way there for Byul. I should start using these location hotkeys, or maybe just click on the screen with the mouse instead of using the arrow keys. So Byul here finds Doromi, and he finds that there's no choke. He doesn't know if there's a lair on the way in the back because he hasn't gone in far enough to see if it's a hatchery or a lair. I assume he thinks this is most... Oh wait, he sees the Hydralisk. Might give away his plans, but I think Byul is expecting lurkers and not Hydralisks. He's getting speed and mines both at the same time. Mines are going to be his best defense against the Hydralisks. The Hydralisks pushing the vultures away. The vultures don't have mines yet, don't have speed yet, but they are buying time until they get mines, and they're going to place mines on the middle to keep those Hydralisks away. Mines are going to finish very soon, and as soon as the mine upgrade finishes, he's going to plant a couple of those mines around the middle. But the Hydralisks are pushing forward. He's not going to give Byul time to rest. And at this point, I think Byul should be aware of the fact that it's not a Lurker build order, but it is in fact a Hydralisk build order. Got a Hydralisk range on the way for Doromi, getting a 5th hatchery, and also now getting a lair. He's on 28 drones. He's been droning up really hard, but now the vultures just gonna ignore the Hydralisk and run right past and place some mines here inside the base, which forces Doromi to move his overlords onto the spots where the mines are, so we can clear the mines and not lose Hydralisk when the Hydralisk are moving from the top corner into the middle. Likewise here, no overlord on the middle. He's moving to the top corner. Maybe just checking that base. Does he not know where Doromi is on the map? Where Byul is on the map? But more vultures keep coming out. It's just a lot of vultures. Mines are going to get placed all over the middle. And Doromi just happens to sneak past because there's a small little opening here that neither player accounted for. And Doromi is just like, oh wait, it's wide open. I'm just going to walk right. Oh, he snipes the mine. That was a target fire on the mine to make sure the Hydralisks don't go down. That's what I meant. His micro is actually really good. Tries to get the most out of this fight here. This is like normal map micro at pro level on fastest. In the end, the tank goes down, but Byul prevents any further damage from happening. The mines here inside of the Doromi's base have been cleared out. Now moving into the middle, has to wait for the Overlord. I don't know if he's got Overlord speed on the way, but he has got a Spire on the way. He's now already on 7 hatcheries, 2 still morphing, got a Queen's Nest there on the way in the back as well. I'm really liking what Doromi is doing, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this. This might be the first time I ever see anyone play a Zerg against Terran on fastest map like this. This is a lot like on the normal maps, where on the normal maps, if you know your opponent is going for Goliaths, because that is, on normal maps, you go Goliaths against Mutalisks, you go with the response of Hydralisks against the Goliaths, because the Hydralisks are really awesome against Goliaths and tanks. Which sounds weird, because we are looking at this from a fast map perspective, but Hydralisks are pretty damn awesome against Terran. Even though we as fastest map players don't really use them that much against Terran. The tanks keep balling up in the front, because Mutalisks on the way there for Doromi, Burrow as well, level 1 attack. I think he's got speed and a range finish for his Hydras. A couple Hydras do go down to the mines. He really needs an Overlord there on the middle, because he just cannot progress. Maybe he doesn't want to progress. Maybe he just wants to bait Byul into a false sense of security that Doromi is going for more Hydralisks, but he's actually switching into Mutalisks. And Byul does have a scan, which he has used, so he actually probably knows what's happening here in the back. He probably saw the Hive, the Spire, and the Evo Chambers, and of course the Mutalisks, so he probably knows it's happening. Which is why he's getting tanks and Goliaths. He stopped getting Vultures. The Vultures have done their job of kind of stalemating the middle. Doromi can't move out, but Byul can't progress towards Doromi. But here's where the game becomes very scary, because Doromi pretty much has the same supply as Byul, which is a Terran against Zerg. That is the last thing you want to happen. You do not want to have less supply than the Zerg. And the Zerg does have about, well, let's say that's 6 on the top, 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom. So 8 hatcheries at the moment. Might get a couple more. His drones are on 53. He's got all the technology buildings he wants, which is really good for him. Having all the technology he needs ready and upgrading. Getting a Great Aspire, getting Lurker upgrade. He's got a Defiler Mounder on the way, getting Overlord transportation and speed. Getting Zergling attack. He's just getting every single little bit of the Zerg upgrade tree and technology that he needs, because Byul is ready to go very soon. He's on 64 SCVs. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, another 5, 9, and 2 more factories on the way, so it's going to be a total of 11. He's got 1 starport for vessels, I assume. Radiate, they're also finished up. We now have Zerg upgrades on the way, Carapace, Attack, Consume, therefore the Defiler got some Devouras on the way as well. Although, at the moment, I don't see any air units for Byul, but Doromi is getting them just in case, because a lot of players do like to get things like Valkyries. So it's better to have those Devouras ready, because most of the time you will be fighting against Valkyries, but Byul just wants to go for the Goliath tank Vulture army with a single vessel in the air to give him detection against those lurkers. We got lurkers are in the front, not yet burrowed up. Byul wants to move forward before the consume happens and before the Dark Swarm is thrown down in the front. He wants to push through right here, right now. And he's gunning for it. He's gunning for it, but the Defiler there in the front has consumed and throws down the Dark Swarm just in time, and the front has been sealed off. Byul is not gonna get in. He's gonna try maybe to just walk through, but oh, there's a Dark Swarm there moving forward, getting the Lurkers in position as well, although he pulls back the Hydralisks. More Lurkers are morphing there though, and the Lurkers have morphed, which means now the Hydras are gonna go forward. He is ready to go, and he gets the Lurkers right there in the front, but both Lurkers that were in here both go down. Which means Byul at the moment has secured this location. Well, both players have somewhat secured the location. Byul gets in with some vultures. His upgrades are currently on 1-1. Doromi is on 0-1 for the ground and 0-0 for the air, but soon he will be on 1-1 for everything and maybe even level 2 attack for the Hydralisks. And likewise, Byul will soon start getting level 2 upgrades for his tanks and Goliaths. Ooh! Doromi doesn't get the Dark Swarm up in time, loses 4 of the 6 lurkers there in the front. But, well, this means that now, theoretically speaking, Byul might be able to kind of just walk through and ignore the lurkers in the front and set himself up on the sides, but he's not going for that yet. He's not going for that yet. Vessel goes forward to radiate the Defiler, just to make sure that he needs to make a new Defiler and cannot throw down another Dark Swarm anytime in the near future, unless he makes a new Defiler. Well, this is going to be a risky one. This is going to be a tricky game of timing and speed. Byul is filling out, with Doromi is filling out all of his gas. Byul has not yet filled out all of his gas. He's playing on 6 gas, 4 are unoccupied, but he's maxed out, so he at the moment might not feel that he has to fill out the remaining gas just yet. But at the moment, he cannot push forward. He cannot push forward. Doromi sending some Guardians to the side to kill that tank there on the side. The Dark Swarm in the front has gone down. He didn't build a new Defiler. He's moving out there. Got Zerglings, Hydralisks, Guardians, and Mules there in the air. Devouras in the back, pushing forward. Does not have a lot of Goliaths here in the front. They're kind of being blocked in the back, having trouble moving forward, having trouble to attack the Guardians, which is working out perfectly for Doromi, although that one Radiate there is damaging a whole lot of Guardians. He's now splitting them up. It looks like the damage has been done. He's killed a lot of tanks and Goliaths, pushed Byul back just enough to get new Dark Swarm and Lurkers burrowed up there in the choke to keep Byul away. The timing was good. Doromi didn't go further than he could. He took exactly what he needed, and now he's going to focus on growing a little bit bigger once again and getting the exact army that he wants. And he's focusing on Zerglings, gets a Plague off there on some tanks, Guardians in the air buying some time, but ultimately are going to get taken down because Goliaths are just that awesome. The Vessel there gets taken out of the air, so no Vessel on the scene at the moment, except they're right all the way in the back. All the way in the back. Byul still isn't filling out his remaining gas. He's playing on, as I said before, 11 factories. He's got 2 starports, adding on 2 more factories for a total of 13. Byul is kind of in a situation where he wants to push forward, he wants to do damage, but he just can't at the moment, because he chose a strategy and a build order that if he doesn't kill the Zerg really quick, then the Zerg has the option to become pretty strong. We can see it in the fact that he hasn't... This is kind of interesting. He's trying to push forward, but it might actually be a terrible idea, because now the tanks in the back are sieging up, but the Zergs and Lurkers are moving forward. If he gets a Dark Swarm up there in the front and the Lurkers get underneath, Byul is going to be in trouble, because now we've got a tremendously awesome push happening by Doromi, pushing forward, killing the tanks, killing the Goliaths, slowly gaining ground. This is like a rope pulling, a push and pull. One player pushes forward a little bit, tries to secure the perimeter, and push the opponent back. And every single time, it's a push and pull, like a rope pulling game, where you progress a little bit forward, a little bit more. Just trying to gain ground on either of the two. But what Byul really needs is to hit those drones. And the drones, in fact, I just saw them unburrow, so I missed a radiate attempt, but the radiate attempt did not kill any of the drones, which is great for Doromi. But now the Dark Swarm at the front is not up in time. He gets... Ooh, the Defiler went down a second after he got the Dark Swarm down. Impeccable timing, and now two vessels going for the radiates on the Defilers and the drones. But the drones all do burrow up, so no drones are gonna die except the one that got radiated. Another Defiler there in the front got taken down, so he's gonna have some trouble with keeping the Dark Swarm up there in the front. His gas is also kind of low, but that is because he made a lot of Mutalisks and a lot of Guardians. Lurks in the front are keeping the Terran away for now. Doromi's economy is in a fine place. His gas is a little bit low, but that's, as I said before, he's spending all of that gas really quickly. Do remember, we're only 16 minutes in, but it already feels like a 20-minute game. A lot is happening. Doromi pushes forward. Too many Goliaths there in that choke point. There's too many Goliaths. But he's trying to soften up Byul's army here in the front to allow for the Zerglings and the Guardians to come in right afterwards. Vessels coming in over the top side, scans the drones. Doromi is responding. Alright, he responds in time, does lose. I think he built a lot of new hatcheries, but he was on 72 drones earlier. Now he's in 60. So he did lose about 12 over the past 2 minutes or so. He did lose a couple of them. He also used a couple of them to build an Ultimus Cavern and a couple more hatcheries on the bottom. And yeah, he's successfully keeping Byul out of his base, except for those couple Goliaths just sneaking through. Got Overlords flying across the map. Is there something inside is the big question. Zerglings are in there. The Defilers as well. Not every single Overlord is filled up. I think one of them is empty. 2 of them are in fact empty. So this is going to be a drop that he's going to send in. Byul saw the Overlords leave, so he put a couple of Goliaths in between, but he can no longer find the Overlords, so he's sending the tanks back here into the middle. But now Guardians are pushing out. Goliaths are not here in sufficient numbers. He's relying on the Radiates and the Goliaths under the Dark Swarm to kill the Guardians, and luckily for Byul, underneath that Dark Swarm, the Goliaths don't take damage, so the Guardians do go down. But now a drop is sneaking through the one little opening that Byul had, and Byul now has a lot of Goliaths here. That's a lot of Goliaths ready to defend. The Zerglings, though, it looks like the Overlord with the Defilers got taken down earlier. So there's no Defiler on the scene, so the Zerglings are kind of just a minor inconvenience for Byul to deal with. Dark Swarm there in the front is ended. He's got a Defiler in the back. No new Dark Swarm there on the Lurkers. This is actually a perfect time for Byul to push. Oh, Dark Swarm just in time. But there's only 2 Lurkers underneath. All he has to do is a double Radiate on both Lurkers, and he can push through and sit safely underneath that Dark Swarm. But now Doromi is leading with Overlords. Once again, he's going over the southern side of the map all the way around. Gonna go straight for the economy in Byul's main base. And luckily for Doromi, there's literally nothing but darkness on the bottom side of the map. A couple new Lurkers burrowing up there underneath Dark Swarm. The Defiler once again got radiated and they got taken down. Doromi is... This is gonna be tight. This is gonna be tight. If not for this Overlord drop, I think Doromi would be losing the game right here, because this push forward is really strong. There's so many Radiates available for Byul. He can kill all the... Oh, the Radiate, the Dark Swarm ended. This is a bad situation. I think Byul feels that he's won the game. He's got a little bit of a surprise ahead of him. A little bit of surprise coming from the southern side, going straight for the mineral, straight for the SCV. He's going to kill everything here in the back. He's pushing forward here inside of the Rom's base. The Rom is not really prepared for this one. He's not really adequately equipped for this push. But here back at home, we got a huge unload of Hydralisks, Zerglings, Defilers, everything you want, killing the main base. Byul got caught by surprise with his pants down on the toilet, and he's getting absolutely destroyed here in the back. Slowly, because the Dark Swarm is protecting the SVs from the Hydralisks, but not from the Zerglings. But the Zerglings are tearing things apart. He's losing everything he can, and now to push forward here inside of the Rom's base. The Rom doesn't really have a lot of units to defend himself against this. Is there a Dark... Oh, the Fighter in the back. The Fighter might get sniped by the tank, but it moves out of position just in time. Throws on the Dark Swarm, gets the Lurkers underneath. He gets the Lurkers underneath the Dark Swarm, which might save his life. Byul's base is absolutely completely getting torn apart. The depots have gone down. And the Lurkers here, the Lurkers have saved the day. Now we've got Ultalisk flanking from the right, getting on top of the tanks. Byul has lost the game. Byul has been destroyed. The Rom wins with a beautiful Zerg against Terran with 2 very sneaky drop attempts, and one of the 2 winds up working. Close ending there. But the Rom with a very clutch. Like, how many Lurkers are there here? 1. There's 1 Lurker, and that 1 Lurker, those 3 Lurkers, saved the day. Because the Rom would have died to this push had the Dark Swarms and the Lurkers not killed all the Goliaths and the tanks in this area. He would have died as well, and maybe he could have... Well, he would have died here as well. Both players would have died. That's basically it. And what would have happened after that, I don't know. Anything could have happened after both players kind of killed each other's bases. Anything could have happened. But Drom pulls out the clutch win. Beautifully done. He earned it. And I hope you enjoyed the game. I did. I enjoyed the game. Saw some different stuff than what we usually get to see, and it was highly enjoyable.